Hello, and you are very welcome back to the Soccer Punter podcast, part of the Gambler's Paradise family. The links for the Gambler's Paradise Discord and X page are on screen now and in the description, so be sure to give us a follow on both. It is match week 12 in the English Premier League. This week we have a full set of fixtures with 5 on Saturday and 5 on Sunday. In this podcast I'll be looking at Wolves v Tottenham and Bournemouth v Newcastle on Saturday, as well as the Aston Villa v Fulham, Liverpool v Brentford and Chelsea v Man City matches on Sunday. We'll start at Molineux as Wolves host Tottenham Hotspur. Wolves have a record of 3 wins, 3 draws and 5 losses so far. They scored in every game except the opening day against Man United, when they were very unlucky not to score given the number of chances they created. They've also kept just 1 clean sheet in their 11 games. They're one of only 2 teams to have beaten Man City and put in impressive displays against Aston Villa and Newcastle in recent weeks. Spurs' unbeaten start to the season came to an end on Monday in a really entertaining and controversial game against Chelsea. That means it's 8 wins, 2 draws and 1 loss out of 11 so far, and they sit second in the Premier League. They've scored in every game so far. They've scored 2 or more goals in 9 out of 11, and they have dominated the XG in the majority of their matches. They create plenty of chances. They play an attacking brand. They do allow for a lot of shots, as we've seen. And to be quite honest, if Ange Postecoglou is not going to change his attacking approach when he's reduced to 9 men, why would he do it here with enforced rotation? Wolves have a decent record at Molineux, where they're unbeaten in 3 games. They are one of only 2 teams to beat Man City this season, and they've had credible draws against Aston Villa and Newcastle. They've scored in 10 out of their 11 Premier League games, and they've only had 1 clean sheet in that same sample. Both teams have scored in 9 out of 11. Tottenham's unbeaten start to the season came to an end at the hands of Chelsea on Monday. They are now dealing with a bit of a crisis, injuries and suspensions, meaning that they are missing key personnel, including 3 of their starting back 4. We've also just learned that James Maddison is likely going to be out through the end of the year. They have scored in every game so far, 2 or more in 9 of 11, and I can't imagine Ange Postecoglou will change his attacking approach regardless of the players available to him. All things considered, I'm going to back Wolves with a quarter goal start. At Molineux, they've proven to be energetic and organised, so I can see them making the most of their chances against a depleted Spurs outfit. This selection pays plus 100, and I would advise 1 unit. We're off to the Vitality next as Bournemouth entertain Newcastle. It's just 1 win in 11 now for Andoni Iraola's side. They've tried to overhaul the playing style of the team, and they're pretty determined to stick with it, even though so far the results aren't yielding. I don't see him adopting a different approach here, certainly not at home. And if they've ever got a chance of picking up some points against a top half team, it could be this weekend, given how depleted the Newcastle squad is with injuries and suspensions. For Newcastle, it's 6 wins, 2 draws and 3 losses. They're unbeaten in their last 7 Premier League games, and they have managed to score in all but 1 of their games this season, the 1 blank coming against champions Man City. Bournemouth have just one win in 11 games, which came against newly promoted Burnley. They've lost the XG battle in 9 of their 11 games, and with just the one clean sheet. They've conceded 2 or more goals in 8 of 11. 5 of their 6 points have come at home at the Vitality, and they have managed a goal in each of their last 3 games, including a consolation against Manchester City. Newcastle are unbeaten in 7 Premier League games, having scored in 10 of 11. They've won the XG battle in 9 out of 11. Their only away win, however, came against bottom side Sheffield United, that 8-0 drubbing. Sheffield United is also Newcastle's only away clean sheet so far this season. They have 8 players unavailable for selection through injuries and suspension, and I think that could be very key here. I'm going to take Bournemouth with a 3/4 goal head start here, meaning that Bournemouth would have to lose by 2 goals in order for the bet to lose. With the way that Newcastle's squad is right now, plus the heavy fixture congestion of European commitments in midweek, I think Bournemouth can take advantage of a weakened side that is tired, and it's worth noting that Newcastle have just one away win this season. It did come against Sheffield United, who are bottom of the table. It was 8-0, but outside of that, they've struggled on the road. They're definitely a better team at St James's Park. Aston Villa will look to maintain their incredible home record as they welcome Fulham to Villa Park on Sunday. Villa come into this with a record of 7 wins, 1 draw and 3 losses. Bit of a shock defeat last time out against Nottingham Forest. If you do look at the form table, however, that home record is quite remarkable. They've played 5 home games this season, they've won every single one of them, and they've scored 3 or more goals in each of them as well. That unbeaten run at home, or that winning run at home should I say, is now at 12 games. They'll be looking to make it 13 in a row here, and it's worth noting that they did come from behind midweek in Europe to win at home as well. Fulham come into this with a record of 3 wins, 3 draws and 5 losses. Their wins have come up against Everton, newly promoted Luton and newly promoted Sheffield United, and it's fair to say when coming up against the better sides in the division, they have struggled. They did get a point at Arsenal, but they were gifted a couple of goals by Arsenal that day. Heavy defeat 5-1 to Man City. They lost to Chelsea, they lost to Spurs, and they lost to Man United last time out, even though there was an element of luck in United's victory there. So it's 7 wins in 11 games, including all 5 at home for Aston Villa, scoring 3 or more goals in all 5 home games. They're currently on a 12-game winning streak at Villa Park, and this season they rank 3rd for goals, 4th for shots and 5th for shots on target overall. Those statistics actually increase as a home team. Fulham's wins have come against lower level opposition in Everton, Luton and Sheffield United, struggling against the better sides. They've lost the XG battle in 8 of 11 games. They have the 4th lowest goals, 5th lowest shots and 4th lowest shots on target in the division, as well as the 3rd lowest XG. They won just once at a top half side last season. I'm backing Villa to continue their home form, and I'm getting creative in order to get the odds up to a backable price. So I'm going to back Villa to score 2 or more goals at home, which they've done on all occasions so far this season. And for Fulham, I'm going to take them to score less than 2. So I'm giving myself a little bit of wiggle room there, saying that Fulham could score maybe 1 goal. I certainly don't see them scoring 2. They've only scored 2 or more goals on 2 occasions so far this season, once against Arsenal, which were both gifts, and once against bottom of the league Sheffield United. And we're off to Anfield next as Liverpool welcome Brentford. Liverpool have a good record so far this season, 7 wins, 3 draws and just that one loss, controversial loss against Spurs. At home they have been absolutely fantastic. They have managed to win every game at home so far, so that means that they're drop points 4 occasions, all of them in away matches. Brentford have won their last 3 games, which means their record is now sitting at 4 wins, 4 draws and 3 losses. They had a little bit of a dip there following the first couple of weekends, but Thomas Frank can be pretty happy with how this team is performing. Despite missing Ivan Toney through his long suspension, they have continued to pose a problem for opposition defences, and as you can see there, they have scored in every game except one. Clean sheets have been hard to come by though, just 3 in 11 for them. Liverpool are incredibly strong at Anfield, having lost just once in 24 games there going back to the start of last season. They've scored in every game so far, scoring 2 or more in 8 of 11. They've won the XG battle in 8 of 11, and on one of those occasions that they lost it was against Newcastle when they played the majority of the match with 10 men. They lead the division in shots and XG. Brentford have won their last 3 games in a row and have scored in 10 out of 11. They've kept only 3 clean sheets, 2 of which came against strugglers Fulham and Burnley. Last season, in their 9 away matches against fellow top half finishers, they were very competitive, but they did end up losing 5 of those, including this fixture 1-0. Given Liverpool's strong record at Anfield, I'm going to take them to win the game, but I do think it will be fairly tight. Brentford are a good side, so I'm going to pair that with under 5 goals to get it to a backable price of -115. Stamford Bridge is the scene as Chelsea host the champions, Manchester City. Chelsea have a record now of 4 wins, 3 draws and 4 losses. They got that win on Monday night against 9-man Spurs. 4-1 is a very generous scoreline considering the performances of both teams. I'm not convinced by Chelsea. Still misfiring, still not putting away chances on a regular basis. And if you take away that Spurs match on Monday, looking at the previous 10 games, only 3 wins there against Luton, Fulham and Burnley, so 2 newly promoted sides, and of course Fulham, who are struggling this season without the likes of Alexander Mitrovic. So not really convinced by Chelsea. I think this is a huge step up in class against Man City, and Man City are a side that have put Chelsea to bed with relative comfort in recent seasons. It's 9 wins out of 11 for Man City, who sit top of the Premier League. They've won their last 3 in a row, and they have only failed to score in 1 game this season. They are the division's top scorers with 28 goals. They have put away opposition with relative ease this year. Arsenal really the only team that gave them a tough test. They are a different side away from the Etihad where they are so strong, but again, against Chelsea, they've not really struggled in recent years to put them away, whether it be in the league or cup competitions. Chelsea have won the XG battle in 10 out of 11 Premier League games so far. 2 of their 3 victories came against newly promoted sides in Luton and Burnley. They've only won once at Stamford Bridge in their last 13 home matches. And already this season they've lost home games narrowly to Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa. Man City are top of the league with more points after 11 games than last season. They have also won the XG battle in 10 out of their 11 games so far. They have the best scoring record and the best defensive record in the Premier League. They won this fixture 1-0 last season when visiting Stamford Bridge, and they've actually won the last 6 head-to-head meetings against Chelsea without conceding a single goal. I'm going to back Man City to get the job done here. I'm also going to pair the selection with under 5 goals. Man City away games don't generally see as many as 5 goals. In fact, only 3 of their last 24 away Premier League matches have seen 5 or more goals. And that is all for the Soccer Punter podcast on this match week 12 of the Premier League. Thank you for listening, and if you're enjoying this content, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. Also be sure to check out the Gambler's Paradise Discord. We have a great team of experts in there who cover a wide range of sports. With NFL, NBA and NHL in full swing, there really is something for everyone. You can find the link to join in the description as well as my bio on X. I'll be back after the international break with more picks and predictions, so until then, best of luck with all your bets. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.